Hey everyone, welcome back to Pretending with Dice. As always, I'm your host and game master, AJ. Just a couple of short bits before we get into today's episode. Firstly, this is going to be the final time that I get to plug this before it happens, but we are returning to the Dragon Meet Convention in London on Saturday, December the 1st for our second year as part of the Podcast Zone, which, as of the release of this episode, is in just over a week's time. For more details on the convention, head to dragonmeet.co.uk. It would be super awesome to see a bunch of you there again. We had loads of fun meeting people last year. So yeah, grab your tickets and come along and say hi. Secondly, if you're not yet a listener of the Penance RPG podcast, who are good friends of ours, and you enjoy my particular brand of terrible voices and questionable jokes, I'd 100% recommend checking out their latest series, Plummet, of which I am a cast member. About 3 episodes of Plummet are available to listen to right now, with new episodes going up every week, so check them out on Twitter at PenanceRPG for more details. Alright then, so let's recap what happened last time. Spending some time in the large city of Lorana as a stop-off on the way to the village of Wildmeadow, Bork, Enothe and Pronce had situated themselves in a tavern known as the Green Flask. As Pronce quickly settled himself in for a long drinking session, Bork and Enothe sought out a merchant from whom to buy a map of the countryside. Bork was surprised to discover that the owner of the nearby general goods store was none other than his cousin Roland. They caught up, and Roland insisted that they should meet up again should Bork make his way back to Lorana at any point. Returning to the tavern, they found that Pronce had cast a charm person spell on a lecherous halfling painter by the name of Riang, and convinced him to paint Pronce's portrait. Bork, Pronce and Riang quickly hurried to the painter's studio, and the actually rather untalented artist made a rudimentary picture of Pronce before the spell wore off. And when it did, he chastised Pronce for interrupting his lecherous behaviour. On the way out, Pronce, delighted at everything, quickly stole the painting, and he and Bork returned to the tavern to find Enothe. Over the course of the afternoon, Enothe, obviously in need of venting his frustrations, picked arguments with both Pronce, who stormed out to get some space, and Bork, who, being the only sober one, took his gear, the map, and a horse to continue their quest alone. Feeling the effects of his uncharacteristic drinking binge, Enothe rented a room at the inn before quickly passing out. That's pretty much where we left off, so without any further ado, let's begin today's episode. Hope you all enjoy it. Who should we go with next? Pronce, you are down by the waterfront.
I'd like to mostly kind of do the similar thing, and is there like a convenient shady spot that Pronce could like skulk down into and put his hat over his face because he's got a bit of a headache?
Yeah, there's a little bit of there's a little bit of shoreline. You can drop down and sleep under the dock if you like.
Yeah, I'm going to sleep under the dock like a hobo.
Yeah, there's a guy there with like a little campfire, like cooking some beans over it.
Oh, okay, right. We're wandering over then. Pronce sees this guy and kind of, through bleary eyes, looks and says, "Do you mind if I join you at your fire?"
That'd be great. You know, I don't get to talk to many people.
I don't want to talk. I just want to sit down, my friend. I've got a very weary head right now. And he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a pork and said, "I can offer you this pork for a little quiet time."
Well, sure. He just grabs it. Like as soon as you pull it out and offer it, yeah, he just goes to town on it.
Enjoy, my friend. And yeah, Pronce gets down in the sand, as I say, puts his hat down over his eyes, and just kind of like lays there trying to like let the hangover start passing. And let the booze work its way through.
Okay. So. You feel Apollonia kind of settle on you, sort of unconsciously keeping watch so nobody rifles through your pockets while you're asleep, sort of thing, and you're quickly snoring under the dock.
Under the dock.
Bork, you are in the street outside of the pub.
Yeah.
With the map.
With the map. With all of your gear.
With my gear.
And you're sober.
Yeah. I Like I said, I'm just walking towards the exit. Well, the entrance exit.
Yeah, it's not far. Like the pub wasn't far, so you pass through the gateway. The guards there, they don't pay any mind. It's mid-afternoon, like I say, so there's a fair few people still out and about and that. And after about a 10 minutes walk, you find yourself back at the crossroads.
Yeah. Okay. At this point, I do debate whether I should have bought a horse or a pony. But it's too late. I'm not going to turn back.
You've got a horse.
Have I got? We didn't have horses, did we?
You did borrow. You borrowed them from the pub.
We borrowed them,
and they didn't get killed in the forest. So, yeah, you got a horse.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh no, you two were.
You
two were. I guess I kind of skimmed that. You two. Well, you had two horses, didn't you? Mm-hmm. So you were showing one with Pronce and then Enothe had one.
Mm. Yeah.
We didn't really mention it. I kind of in my head was sort of like when you were walking alongside the cart and stuff. It was sort of like, you were just kind of leading them around a bit. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to say that you took the horse, then that's.
I'd like to have taken a horse with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bit of a trek. So
you have your horse.
Great. So I've got my horse, and so I've got no need to think about going back at all. I'm going to basically head south for the afternoon, and then.
Yeah,
pitch a tent in the evening.
Sure. Okay, so just start cranking it.
Yeah, I'm alone now. I can do what I want when I'm on my own.
Yeah. So you it's late. It's mid-afternoon by the time you're leaving, so you don't get a whole lot of distance behind you, but you get a good 8 or 9 miles down the road. Then sort of pull off into there's a little stream. Sorry, I said pull off. Yeah, exactly. There's a little stream that the horse starts to have a drink from, and you're a short way from the road now, just so avoid any trouble, and you kind of pitch up.
Yeah.
And you are on your own in the middle of the.
I am. Yeah.
The middle of the countryside.
Yeah. I guess the kind of. The excitement of that moment is kind of obviously faded now.
Yeah,
I was in, so I'm like, I'm still determined to do this, but it's certainly that idea is like I have left those two guys behind.
Yeah,
but like in a way, screw them because it got a bit.
Yeah, it got a bit heated, didn't it?
Heated more than it ever has done, so they can sort that shit.
Yeah, and it's a nice evening as well. Sun, it's a summer's evening. It stays light, till about 9-10 o'clock at night, and the sun is
classic summer.
There's a nice sunset.
Nice.
Yeah, and you have you don't get any trouble in the evening. You're far enough off, and you're fine.
Good.
Pronce, you wake up next to the river. It's dark.
Okay.
The hobo guy is still there. He's just kind of standing over his fire. You go,
oh, hey, you woke up then?
How long was I out?
The sun went from there to down.
I guess I ask a stupid question. And Nick gets up, dusts himself down, and kind of looks around like he was kind of expecting the other guys to have somehow turned up in time. Like that seems to have happened before, but not this time. And
they didn't really have any way of finding you.
Well, whatever you expected it. So I'm looking around, and it's like, oh, my friends. I'd better get going before I lose track of my friends too much. And I kind of scurry off and. So, thank you for the spot.
Yeah, it's fine.
Have a good night.
Hopefully it won't be too cold.
So tempted to launch a fireball back with you.
just murder a hobo before you leave the town.
Well, I wouldn't have set him on fire. I'd have said launch it at a campfire that was on the ground just to give it a good boost or something. But let's keep going. I'm going to wander through the streets then.
You've sobered up a bit now, and you're through the worst of it, although your head is throbbing a little.
So what are the streets like at this point now that it's gone dark?
A lot less busy, but there's still a fair few people about. It's a bit rowdier. You're kind of on the docks side, so there's a lot of now post-work river, workers and stuff. There's fishermen on the day off. There's a few pubs around on the kind of in the dock area.
Okay,
you seem to be seeing a lot of business. Although it seems a bit rougher. There's a lot of kind of you can hear the sounds of a couple of fights going on and that, and Yeah.
Okay, so as Pronce travels through this area, he catches sight of people drinking, supping from cups, and he winces at the sight of this.
You couldn't even possibly think of alcohol right now.
And then hearing raised voices, he sort of winces a little more and takes little steps away from wherever the sound is coming from as he's pacing through the alleyways and makes his way back towards the green flask.
Yeah.
And heads back indoors, looking around as he enters for his friend.
Okay, make a perception check for me.
12 plus 2, 14.
It's busy in here now. There's a lot more people than there were at kind of lunchtime, but you don't see any sign of Enothe or Bork.
Slightly panicked then, Pronce goes up to the desk and talks to Ernest and says...
Ernest isn't there now. It's
I'm presumptuous.
evening shift now.
I run up to the bar then and I speak to the bar person, whoever they may be, and say...
there's a quite sort of hurried, sort of rushed off her feet kind of human barmaid there.
Okay.
Right, well, what can I get you?
I was looking for Ernest, actually.
Ernest has gone home.
I have two friends, a halfling and an elf, a surly-looking elf, and a fairly jolly little halfling, although the last time I saw him, and he kind of trails off.
I haven't seen him. I only came in an hour ago.
Bugger. And he's just looking around the room in a slightly confused state now. Has been woken up? Maybe no.
I know that you are out. You were so drunk you've just passed out.
Yep.
In a room upstairs.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
Elves don't need to sleep, but I'm fucking doing it.
Yeah, you don't need restful sleep. You can do trance, but you're drunk, you just passed out. That's different. I think.
I'm bored.
I think 130 years are catching up on you, and you needed something.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, well, do you want a room or something? Wait for your friends.
Well, I guess I've no choice. Yes, a room, please.
I'd be 5 silver.
And I'd chuck the money over.
Yeah.
Give it to her in the form of Electrum.
Yeah,
that's what I've got.
Yeah. That's
more than silver.
Electrum, I think, is 5 silver. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like 50p.
Cool.
Basically. If we're thinking of coppers as
yeah.
But it doesn't really translate up there. She goes, right, okay, I haven't got time to show you, but room 7 up here.
Okay.
She throws you a key.
I take the key, go upstairs, look down the corridor, and can I check something actually with my familiar?
Yeah.
Is it corporeal? Does it have a physical form? Can it pass through barriers?
It is corporeal, yes.
It is corporeal. Okay.
You fucking perv.
Okay, so Pronce goes to the room and sits down and kind of in a confused manner thinks to himself, where could they have gone? Why, they wouldn't leave me, would they? No, nobody would ever leave Pronce behind. And decides that his best bet for perhaps finding these guys locally might be to go into Apollonia and fly around for a little while and have a look through her eyes.
Okay.
So I'm going to sit in the bedroom and open the bedroom windows, assuming that it's like shutters or something that could
you can open it
into the street.
Yeah.
And I want to go into Apollonia and fly outside and have a look around. Fly past windows, skirt the building, do a radius kind of thing.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah. This is the how can I look into all the rooms, basically, is it? Yeah.
How do I make an excuse to find anything?
So, yeah, Apollonia can't see anything sort of on the ground. There's a lot of people, but you know what Bork and Enothe look like. And she circles for a couple of minutes, and you'll begin to get a little bit despondent, because this was a bit of a long shot. Try and see what was going on. As a last thought, you think to kind of, okay, well, let's see who's in the other rooms, and about half of them are occupied, and one of them kind of catches your eye, but only just because you see what looks to be a very familiar cloak kind of strewn on the end of a bed, but you can't be sure.
Okay. Note in which room that was.
It's kind of across the hall from you.
Yeah, within the layout of the building. I'm going to go back in, Pronce's consciousness goes back into his head, and then he gets up and kind of peers out of his door and looks towards the one that he suspects. and gives a deep sniff to see if there's the hint of whiskey coming from that room.
Make a perception check for me.
11 plus 2, 13.
You can't really smell anything, no.
It was you that smelt of whiskey all along.
I mean, bearing in mind you yourself have got a bit of a smell about you. And this is a pub, you know, it's...
Well, looking around and feeling a bit dejected, have I noted where Apolloni was around the building? Presumably we tied the horses up somewhere. Have I noted that there's only one horse left behind now? I'd like to say that I have.
Yeah, let's say yeah. Because you would remember tying the horses up.
So I've noted that one horse is gone and start putting 2 and 2 together and realise that I probably shouldn't have spent the money on the room because I probably don't need it. That maybe they both left without me, that they could have gotten away on one horse together, so maybe I'll just go out and get on the horse and start riding and see if I can find them. So with that in mind, Pronce heads downstairs and gives the key to the room back to the person at the bar.
All right.
And says, "Oh, it turns out I don't really need the room. Keep the money, obviously. I mean, I'm not going to beg for that back or anything. But if you keep your eye out, there's a halfling named Bork and an elf named Enothe that I'm looking for. I've got a horrible feeling they've left without me. But should they turn up, let them know that I've gone seeking adventure, and them."
Okay, Bork and Enothe.
Bork and he stops for a second, even though he got it right a second ago. Hang on, I'm always getting this wrong. He hates me for it. In fact, we've recently come to almost blows. His name is Enothe. That's the one. Enothe.
Enothe, right.
Enothe and
Okay.
Bork, yes.
If I see them, I'll say you were looking for them.
Thank you. And he hops outside, unties the horse and jumps on its back and starts. I want to head out of the city and onto the road that Bork has taken.
Sure, okay. It's very dark now as well.
I've got my hat.
That's true, you do have your hat. I
always got my
always
fiery
forget
hat.
about your hat, yeah. Okay.
I've got my own personal illumination.
Fucking ridiculous.
Okay, so it is, yeah, but it's still kind of dark, and you can stay on the road kind of fine, and there's, it's sort of marked out. There's lanterns every once in a while, but it's mostly just a dark road heading south.
So I'm going to ride out into the night, making sure to pay attention to the sides of the road to see if there's signs of a campfire or some light, some hint of somebody making down for the night. That perhaps could be these guys.
Okay, make a perception check.
8, so 10.
10, okay. After about 5 miles, you do see the sign. This looks to be a campfire a little ways off.
With that in mind, then I'm going straight for it.
Okay.
And as Pronce rides, I'm going to shout, "Bork! Enothe! Bork! Enothe! Bork! Enothe!" and wave one hand overhead, hoping that that's like, if they're asleep, I'm waking them up, and if not, then they're definitely like I'm getting attention.
Okay. An arrow flies out of the darkness towards you from the general direction of the campfire.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to roll an attack roll.
Yeah.
I think you're going to die.
It does miss you though.
Feeling the arrow or hearing the arrow go swoosh
You hear
past,
just like a kind of
he shouts, "Enothe, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Like, I'm sorry I shrank you. Don't fire anymore." And I've pulled the horse to a stop and have kind of like, are there any trees or bushes that I can kind of get near to feel like if another arrow comes, or maybe I can duck behind this?
There's kind of a lot of shrubbery around here.
Okay.
That's about it though.
Right. I'd like to get off of the horse then,
And your hat's still on fire.
and because I still think it's Enothe, I'm not taking it out yet.
Okay.
No.
Getting off of the horse then, I'm going to kind of crouch down next to it, the horse, and like on the side where the horse is taking the arrow if another one gets shot at me, and shout and keep shouting like, "Stop firing!"
Okay, make a perception check for me.
6 total.
6. Okay, so you don't hear two guys creeping up behind you. And the next thing you hear is a voice. Says, drop the fucking staff now. Turn out your pockets.
Oh. And Pronce lifts his hands above his head and drops the staff. Okay. You're not the friend I thought you were.
So you kind of turn slightly and you can see two guys there who look very rough. Scarred, all geared up, they're wearing leather armour. Mm-hmm. And a third one steps out in front of you from the direction the arrow came from.
So, well, look here, boys. Someone came to us.
Bugger. I don't think there's much I can do at this point. Sure, I'll keep my hands held up in the air.
It's no funny business.
Okay.
You can walk away from here.
I understand. I take your point, gentlemen. This isn't my first rodeo. And with that, it's like, so what do you want? What? I'm not a rich man.
One of them snatches your purse off of your belt.
Oh.
Kind of weighs it up.
Yeah, you're not fucking kidding, are you?
No.
He pockets it.
I'm a one for being quite generous and charitable, and I don't suppose you gentlemen would see it in your hearts to be equally charitable with me, perhaps.
Well, we'll see about that. At that point, they see the bulge in your other pocket of the gem.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what's that? Get it out for us now.
You want the thing in my pocket? Okay, right. Reaching into his pocket, Pronce grabs the gem of Malar, and I would like to drop to my knees at the same time, grab the staff, and activate Dimension Gate to get away from
Dimension Door? Yeah,
Dimension
okay.
Door.
So...
You should just give him the pocket book.
The pork's gone. They're under the pier tram pad.
So, yeah.
The pork.
Where are you going to? You've got a range on it of, I think it's 500 feet.
Okay, right. 500 feet back in the direction.
It's not a long distance, though.
Because we're 5 miles away from town now, so even if I go back in that direction, it's a long-ass fucking way. Okay. I just want 500 feet towards the road, I guess. So I'll be on the other side of the road. So where we're off on one side of the road...
Mm-hmm. You're kind of on the left-hand side.
I want to go to the right-hand side of the road, 500
But 500 feet away.
Yeah.
Okay. So behind you, you hear click as one of them go, oh, fucking hell. Brings his crossbow up. You put your hand on the gem and feel, and suddenly there's lit up around you as the sparks fly around the gem like you've seen before, and the previous time that you used it. You put another hand on your staff as this dimension door opens in front of you. You just roll through it, and suddenly you're somewhere else. The countryside looks very similar, but you're clearly not the exact spot that you were at. Over in the distance, you can still see the campfire, and you can hear these muffled shouts, and can't really make out what you're saying, but you can hear some angry shouting.
Okay. I quickly pull off my hat and dispel continual flame.
Okay.
So that is no longer drawing attention to where I am.
Yeah.
And as it's shaking his head, like, why did I leave it going? Why did I leave it going?
You know it's serious when the hat gets put out.
Yeah.
Put the hat back on and look around for is there a burrow or some sort of is there something I could squeeze myself into that's about body shaped and size that's
you can
I want a Frodo hiding from the wraith.
Make a survival check for me.
Okay. 10 plus 2, 12.
12. Yeah. So you quickly kind of start making your way the opposite direction from them, just getting away, and you find a little kind of burrow, sort of. The ground around here is not flat. You're sort of on a bit of a floodplain, but it's a little bit kind of bumpy and hilly and that. And there are a few trees here and there, so you do manage to find a little kind of spot that you think might be hidden.
Okay, so I want to crawl into that hole and pull all as many, if there's twigs, leaves, anything that I can pull in for camouflage type stuff. Just pull it on, pile on as much as possible, scooping arms full onto his body to be and then just sitting there quietly, breathing as quietly as he can. Just, I hope nobody finds me. If I'm silent, nobody will find me.
Make a stealth check.
12. with... Yep, just 12.
Okay. You feel like you're fairly well hidden?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm just going to wait.
Yeah.
That's all I can do at this point. Pronce is down
Yeah.
for the night until the sun rises. He's not coming out of the hole.
Yeah. And you stay vigilant throughout the night. You do occasionally hear those sounds of shouting, but they only really last for another kind of hour or so at most. Like, these guys are sort of like, oh, they got you their money and they got your horse. But
He's the important part for them.
And so you spend the rest of the night in this kind of shrubbery-filled hollow in the ground, cold and purseless, and yeah, feeling a little down. I would think. Enothe, you wake up about 4 in the morning. You've had a long sleep. You've been out for a good 12 hours. The sun is just beginning to sort of lighten the sky as you look out of the window. You haven't got a huge hangover, but your head is kind of throbbing. You've clearly slept through the worst of it. And memories start sort of flooding back. You remember a shouting match with Pronce, him storming out after shrinking you. And then getting into another fight with Bork, who stormed out as well. And then you vaguely remember making it up to this room. Okay. But everything's very blurred.
Okay.
It's a new sensation for you. Not that you haven't gotten drunk before, but this was way past your normal point.
Okay. So I'm going to go through Enothe's thought processes at this point as to like why he feels bad about the arguments, because I think it's important to examine the way he thinks about it, because I think it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So basically, with Enothe being so much older than most of the people he runs into, he generally views everyone, because he's used to people dying all the time, because obviously I've made friends with humans before and they've died, and that's a sad fact of life. It's something as an elf you get used to.
Like, you've made friends who are young, and then you've seen them die in old age.
And that sucks. So I kind of view humans not quite like a pet, but almost like just a very hyperactive, very vocal kind of like dog, basically.
I mean, you're still fairly young for an elf as well.
Yeah, but I've still had enough. I'm still old enough.
Like, the elders in your village were like 800, 900 years old, and
so I've got that. I would still have that, and they would still have that kind of level of understanding of how humans and halflings and things like that live. So I feel a little bit like I got drunk and shouted at the cat.
All right.
What is the cat?
And I'm not feeling particularly great about that, especially because I try to be a nice person despite my.
Sorry, that look that you just gave.
What?
You're like,
I try to do
you
the
don't
right
agree with that at all.
I try to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And I'm the one that saved the little girl in the cottage.
Let's not get there.
Going back to episode 1.
Literally, callback.
That was a long reach back for us.
I can pick a plethora of other times I've been trying to do the right thing.
I'm just messing with you.
Fuck you all. Say hello to the wife. So I'm feeling particularly bad, and I feel a lot like really I should have risen above it and just dealt with it. And I probably shouldn't have let these two get to me quite so much.
Yeah.
As much as they are really fucking annoying. I don't know how long they're going to be around, and I probably shouldn't treat them so badly.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to come to terms with that, as well as dealing with a slight headache. So I'm going to go downstairs and get a drink of water. Who's working?
It's about 4 in the morning. There's still a few people around. I'd say there's a younger human barmaid who sort of seems to be tidying things up, and that she looks a bit tired at this point, and that says, "Oh, you from upstairs, were you?"
Can I just grab a glass of water?
There's glass.
We'll go for a glass of water.
Yeah.
Tankard of water.
Sure, yeah, no worries. Turns around, gets you the water, and carries on cleaning.
Thanks. I give her like 10 copper or something as a
silver.
As a thank you.
Yeah.
I'll give her a silver as a thank you. I don't suppose you saw a halfling and a wizard?
And not that I know of.
No worries.
Someone else was asking for halflings earlier, but
was pointy hat that was on fire?
Yeah, that's the one.
I don't suppose you saw which way he went.
Out the door.
Yep, that makes sense. All right. Okay. I'm gonna leave you be. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm gonna head out.
Okay. You finish your water, and as you step outside, you see both horses are gone.
Wonderful. So they left at different times. Fuck knows where they've gone. I guess I'll head towards Wild Meadow and just hope that I bump
Yeah,
into
you've
them
got a
on the
vague
way.
idea of where you're going, but you're on foot.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like I should. I feel like it'd be. I guess I'll look around for a horse to rent or something.
oh yeah, there's the stables if you wanted to rent.
Yeah.
All right, you still have all of the money.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm doing all right.
It's a good thing
true.
too.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll look for a horse to rent.
Yeah, the stables are a little quiet at this hour, but there's a guy who's just gotten up and he's started to. By the time you find your way to the stables, it's kind of pushing 5. A guy seems to. He's looking a little bleary-eyed, but he's kind of up and feeding the horses. I say it's summer, so the sun is starting to come up at this point.
Hi, sorry. Can I rent a horse?
We're a bit early, but yeah. Why
Wonderful.
not?
How much? I'm just gonna buy a horse.
Buy your own horse?
Yeah, can I just buy a horse?
So, want to buy one? Oh well, yeah. I mean, you got the coin. I can do that.
How
for you.
much?
Well, old Shadow here's going for 75.
Cool. I'll take her. I'll take her. I'm going with her.
Yeah,
Shadow's
her.
my name.
Yeah. It's a black
Yeah, it is.
horse.
It's the Batmobile.
Supercross. So well, with all saddle and everything, it'll come to about 80. That's all right.
Yep, that's fine. Here you go.
Yeah. Okay. So you find yourself with your own horse.
Sweet.
Yeah. Who seems fairly docile, but seems powerful enough and that. So yeah, you are now the proud owner of a horse.
I guess I then start riding towards Wild Meadow,
Yeah.
keeping an eye out with my high level of passive perception.
So Bork,
Hello.
you wake up. So as the sun kind of crests and the horse is sort of chewing on some grass and that next to the little stream that you camp next to, and seems like it's going to be another lovely day.
Damn right. I pack up my tool set and keep heading south.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you head on back to the road, and it's a little bit of traffic here and there on the road. You know, someone having carts going here and there, and that. It's just sort of early morning, just starting to wake up a little bit. And
Yeah.
that. And but yeah, you find no trouble.
Good. As people pass by, do we kind of do that acknowledging of like?
Yeah, I don't know. You tell me. You nodding at them? What do
I
you-
think
Yeah.
general kind of that.
Yeah.
If they give you,
I mean,
give
you got
that
your
little way.
sword. You got your, you
Yeah,
look like a well kitted out halfling, adventuring, rambling hiker.
Yeah. Raw hiding. Isn't it?
Yeah, raw hiding.
Yeah.
And you're fine. Pronce.
Good talk.
Good talk. I feel like we needed to check in there.
Good progress.
Yeah. Pronce, so you've had a pretty sleepless night in this little hollow. The sun's coming up now, and you can see that, yeah, you're kind of just tucked in between some roots, basically, at this tree. But you haven't heard any signs of movement recently.
Okay. Feeling pretty awful then, like groggy and
Yeah,
edgy
you're
and
pretty exhausted.
stomach probably a bit rumbly by this point, and
Yeah.
getting up. Franz gets up, wanders over to the road, and kind of looks left and right, trying to figure out like, oh damn, what do I do now? Like I didn't ride too far out of the city, so I guess
Yeah, you didn't get as far away as Bork did, to be honest.
No.
Bork got 8 or 9 miles down the road and was like, I'm going to camp here.
that's it. I think I should wander down the road the 5 miles back to the city then.
Okay.
And figure out what I'm doing, because I can't go, like, what was it, 3 days more, 4 days more down the path to get to where?
Yeah, it's a decent. I mean, it took you. It'd be about 4 days travel,
okay.
probably.
I don't have a map either.
You may,
so,
yeah. I mean,
yeah. I can't do much other than walk back and hope that I bump into somebody useful on the way.
Yeah, feeling dejected and roughed up, and you're covered in like nature debris.
Looking a bit more like Vegan now.
Yeah, a little bit. You begin to in fact, you actually kind of
Ruined my joke there.
You kind of wonder how Vegan how it gets by with all of this sort of
twigs and
moss and stuff around him the whole time. You sort of you dejectedly make your way back along the road.
Okay.
Enothe, you're travelling for about 3/4 of an hour.
Okay.
Before you see Pronce.
Vegan? No. It's the idiot. Pronce! Come to a stop.
He looks up because he's been walking with his head staring like at the ground for the entire route, just dejected. And looks up. Oh, Enothe.
Get on the horse.
Ah,
Get on the horse. We've got to find Bork.
are we friends again?
It's fine. Just get on the horse.
I'm so sorry for making you small.
Shh. On the horse.
But he gets on the back, and because he's so tired, just sort of slumps forward onto Enothe and like rests his head on his shoulder as they ride.
Just make sure you hold on, buddy, and then continue pelting it down.
I've had a horrible night. I should have
go to
never
sleep.
gone away by myself. I'm never leaving you guys again.
Okay.
And he squeezes in a way that's kind of like, oh, my hero. And we ride.
I can be your...
Damn it! Stop taking the jokes. Him with the vegan thing, you and I can be honestly.
Yeah, sorry.
What's his name? The voice of Riang.
Yeah, exactly.
I can be your hero, baby.
I can kiss away.
So this is a question of pace now then. Are you guys going fast to try and catch up with Bork?
I've got an actual horse. Like, I've got a proper...
That's true, you got a riding horse.
Yeah, whereas he had like...
Yeah, Bork, you're kind of riding one of the ponies from the pub.
Yeah, I'm not making any conscious effort to like rush this. I'm not waiting for them either.
You're making progress. But you're not like killing it.
Whereas I'm like pushing it as far as can be, and also rewarding the horse with regular food and whatnot.
Yes,
you know.
Okay, so it takes.
Look after your animals.
It does take you about 4 or 5 hours past then, and ahead of you can start to see the shape of a halfling on a pony.
It's 100% Bork. Pronce, it's Bork.
Pronce kind of wakes up because he's like half dozing against your shoulder, like, oh, what the Bork?
Just ahead.
And I peer out and like start shouting, Bork!
Bork, you you think you're imagining things to begin with. You've been kind of mulling everything over in your head. And you're almost getting like, oh, I can almost hear him now.
But I don't look back.
You don't look back?
No.
Still pissed off about those arguments.
He's too cool to look back.
A little bit. Yeah.
Never look back.
Never look back. Explosions.
So yeah, the two of you
Explosions.
pull up next alongside of him.
Still leaning against his back, I'm kind of look over at Bork. Bork, my boy!
Hey, Bronze.
Found you! I thought I'd never see you again. There were bad men on the road.
Pronce looks like he's been through the ringer.
Okay. I'm a little alerted to the fact that he's looking a bit rough considering it's been 12 hours or so.
You don't recognise the horse they're on either.
No, sure. Yeah, okay. I'm glad you're okay. You look a little worse for wear, Bronze.
I'm so tired.
Oh.
I've been up all night. They took all my money and they almost got the gem. And he reaches a hand slowly and wearily into his pocket and fiddles with the gem just because every time.
I'm glad you've got the important things, I guess.
I don't have any pork or money though.
Well, I see you've got a horse.
It's not mine.
Whose horse?
It's my horse.
You bought a horse?
I did. It seemed like a good idea as you two both took one each.
Yeah, well,
Sorry.
it's my horse.
I fucked everything up.
I love this guy.
And he starts crying against your back, and you can hear him kind of sobbing. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, Bronze sounds.
Proncy?
Well, he sounds kind of,
Proncy.
sorry for certain things. You seem okay.
I'm alright. I'm sorry I said what I said about your wife and your kids.
All right.
It's a little weird you don't know their ages, but I'm still sorry for saying it.
Sure. Okay.
Addiction's a serious thing and I shouldn't have mocked you for it. I'm sorry.
This is true.
That's what I learned.
I feel like you took 2 steps forward, but also 1 step back with that apology.
I stand by it.
It was half-hand. It was half-hard, though, yeah.
That you basically said, like, I'm sorry I said that. I had a point, though. Like,
It's a little weird. I stand by. It's a little weird. He doesn't know his kids' ages.
he might know them, he
was the
just
height
didn't
of the
say them to you.
situation,
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you'd answer back with that if you knew that in an argument.
No, because
I
it
feel
didn't
like
have any
you would.
bearing on the situation.
It did. I feel.
Anyway, so where are you guys going?
Same place as you, I would imagine. Well, I think I just need to take Pronce to have a bath.
Oh, I'm so dirty. And I smell. I don't like it.
I kind of stopped at the side last night, and there was kind of a little meadowy river area. I think. I don't know if you guys passed that. You got to clean them there.
That's about 4 hours behind you at this point.
No.
I guess they went past.
Crying at the prospect of having been able to have been cleaned off, but we've not doing it. Like
We've been riding specifically to find you and catch you up.
I
Have you?
didn't think I'd see you again.
I'm glad I saw you. See you again, Pronce.
Playing very hard to get.
Well, you can join along. I'm going on to the place we're meant to be going.
Still after the cultists.
Yeah,
Right. Shall we team back up and take them down then?
sure.
And Pronce wipes a tear from his eye. Like, yeah, let's be friends again. I don't like it when we're not friends.
Just go back to sleep.
Okay. Kind of rests his head back down again.
I give him a pat on the back next to me.
He jumps like, "Ah! You've got all my money.
Oh my god! what?
Jesus Christ.
I can't believe this all changed so badly in like 12 hours.
You could almost say you guys needed each other.
Maybe. In a really
Sort of.
uncathartic
Bork
way.
was getting on fine without anybody, but
I was
like,
really kind of getting to my
if anything, you're having a great time.
The sun came up this
The
morning.
one thing that I've learned from today's session is that Pronce desperately need you guys.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna continue on.
Yeah.
Carry on our way
Kind
with
of
sons.
quietly.
Carry on. Okay.
Our with sons. I stand by it.
Okay, well, you're about. Okay, so as this day kind of. You guys kind of travel in sort of relative. Sort of quiet, I think, with Pronce sort of napping against Enothe's back. So for the rest of the day. And yeah, you've got about 2 days more of travel to get to Wild Meadow, really. But you pass the turn off to the village of Heartrun, but you kind of you think about turning off, but it's not like following the map that you got.
That didn't work for us last time.
Yeah, following the map that you got from Roland, that was you know, this isn't a turning that would lead you to where you're going. Really, it's just another little village. So yeah, day comes to a close again, and you're sort of on the side of the road.
I'm just checking to see if I've got the right kinds of skills to be able to, like, can I forage? Like, as I've got...
Yeah, no, you
food.
can forage if you like. I mean, make a nature check.
Okay, 3 plus 5, 8.
Not really. You find some berries. You don't really know if they're edible or not.
Hesitant to, like... Part of me is like, I give them to the other guys to test. But no. Having learned a lesson from the previous day's events and the breaking up of the group, Pronce eats one of the berries himself
Okay.
to test it to see if it's good for everybody.
You immediately die. No, you...
A dragon descends.
Roll for savings.
You summon the berry dragon.
You,
It sprays chat on you and you
yeah,
die.
they're a little bitter, but you don't really feel ill or anything.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, gentlemen, before we camp for the night, I've found a few berries. They're not very delicious, but
You know I have rations on me.
oh. And he just turns his hand over and drops the berries.
I'm just going to deal out rations to Bork and Pronce.
And yes, let's have a little meal, and then
Yeah.
I don't have anything to discuss, so the night can pass unless you guys have anything to say. Yeah, the next couple of days
I don't
pass
intend on
like
talking
with
much.
relative quiet and just
yeah, there's a relative quiet.
calm conversation when it comes.
You make it to the sort of the main sort of there's a junction to turn off towards Wild Meadow, and this is the sort of the last you'll see of the main road for a while. The main road's fairly well patrolled, apart from obviously the one bit where you got mugged.
Classic.
The road to Wild Meadow is a little bit more kind of, okay, we're heading down a country lane here, as opposed to like a sort of slightly wide kind of trade road kind of thing. You travel for a few hours down this road, and up ahead you finally, as just before you think you should be able to see some signs of Wild Meadow on the horizon, you do see a figure at the side of the road who raises a hand as you approach. Yeah.
Can we help? Are you okay?
Well, I thought you were here to help me.
I just offered help, so I guess kind of.
This is very strange. The
Usually
figure
is.
drops a hood. It's a young woman with blonde hair, wearing a quite well tailored, quite nice material, sort of looks almost like a wizard robe, kind of like Pronce's. Although you're so used to Pronce's that it could be that just his is really crap. You know, yours is quite battered at this point anyway, and dirty. But hers is, it's clean, it's well taken care of, it's nice material. And then that she pulls from a small satchel on her, sort of tied round, pulls a note from it. It says, "I had a note from my master to meet 3 people here who seem to fit your description."
Sounds.
What's the description?
There's an elf, a halfling, and a man with a beard. It says meet.
Are you just a man with a beard?
Meet 5 miles outside Wild Meadow.
And what are we meant to be doing for you?
I don't know. It just says you'll need their help.
Okay, well, we're planning on heading to Wild Meadow. We're chasing some people. Well, we're intercepting, I guess.
Yeah.
We're kind of hoping we'll get here before they do.
Okay. Well, I've just got here myself. So
Who's your master?
My master is one of the 5 council members of the Grand Arcanium. Well, you can make a history check if you want to.
I was going to say, do I immediately recognise the Grand Arcade?
Well, you don't recognise a lot, but like you can make one.
1.
You forget things.
It sounds like it might be vaguely related to something magical, but
Pronce finishes feeling the beard on his face because he was double checking he is a bearded man, and looks up and says, "Arcane? Speaking of the arcane, I know things of the arcane.
the Arcanium.
That surely involves the arcane."
She's looking at you a little bit weird, like you've not heard of the Arcanium is it's the magical authority of this country.
Magical authority. I've heard of magic,
Somehow
but
doesn't.
authority. I'm not quite so sure about that second word. How does that apply?
Well, we people come to us to be trained in magic.
Training? What?
How did you learn magic?
Well, I just know it. And with that big flare of purple mist and purple rain out of it, it's kind of like, if you imagine it's coming out of his sleeves as he waves his arms across.
Yeah.
That's kind of the vision I've got in my mind.
Your distractions do not work on us.
I simply know illusions.
Just watch it sprinkle around you.
Bork, have you heard of the Arcanium?
Make a history check.
Make a check, yeah.
I figure you've got more of a chance of knowing it than I do.
I don't
my
know.
history's
That doesn't track really. You've been around a while.
Yeah.
History is +2.
Yeah, my history's +1, so...
Okay.
You were there, you didn't pay any attention.
Oh, magic. I've got my first 1 of the night.
2 1s for investigation on the same check.
That's a 3.
Bork, you haven't heard of it either, but you don't really go in for that magic stuff.
I don't really know. Oh, I haven't heard that.
What did you get?
20 in total.
Yeah, I mean, you're surprised these two haven't heard of it, really. It's kind of up there. It's like, that's like, hey, have you guys heard of the church? Like,
Have you heard of food?
yeah, it's well known as like, it's the kind of like, they are the official magic place in the country, really.
So I know that it's a big deal.
They're a big deal, and if what she's saying is right, her master is one of the High Council.
Have you got any proof that they're your master?
Sure, yeah. She pulls out a small amulet with like a kind of crest on it.
Which I'll recognise because
It looks, it seems,
riding this roll.
yeah, it seems legit.
1s and a 20.
all the way.
Seems legit.
Awesome.
That's a nice amulet you pulled out there. Does it do anything?
Oh god.
It proves who I am.
Everyone talks
you-
to Pronce like that.
Are you sure you're a wizard? You seem very.
Oh no,
dirty.
I've just got my own. And he pulls out the amulet of Malar and holds it up like, mine's much better than yours. And she goes, oh, well, this one's got a power, but well, if yours doesn't, then I was expecting to trade information for information. If yours is just about authority.
That's very sparkly. Yeah. Look, I came out here. I got this note. It said to come here. I've been on the road for 2 days. Half an hour after I get here, you three turn up. Look, I don't know why I'm here either. I just know that my master said to come to Wild Meadow and that I'd need your help.
Well, you seem competent enough. Do you want to come with us into Wild Meadow?
I'm going anyway. You three can come with me if you like.
Sure. What's your name?
You can just call me Ellis.
Doesn't sound like a pseudonym at all. Cool.
So
The R really helped.
are we just going to
Believable.
head off down the road then?
I don't know. You tell me. She
I'm happy, like, hearing what you've just said. Pronce is going like, oh, let's go then.
she takes a few steps and sort of sniffs the air and goes, "You are very dirty."
He is.
We know.
Pulls out a wand, waves it, and all of the dirt disappears off of you.
Oof. Did I feel anything? Was there any sensation?
It was like a small gust of wind just kind of like twisted round you for a second, and all of a sudden you are completely clean.
Oh, that's quite the technique you've got there. What's that called?
Prestidigitation. Do you know magic? Are you sure you know magic?
I know illusions. And again, like, just waves his arms out as flourishing all over the place, like just as much smoke and purple dust as possible. Like,
I don't know why I've never thought this, but I've literally have never thought, like, ever thought to question that Pronce was or wasn't an actual wizard.
Yeah, because he
Until now.
sets fire to things. Do you even...
This is amazing. This is new to me.
I've been secretly keeping fire grenades in
like
my pocket. the entire
Amateur
time.
wizard. Anyway, sorry.
Well, if we're going to be travelling together, I'm not putting up with that smell. Right.
Oh, thank you very much. I feel much fresh as a daisy.
does she...
And you'll have to show me how to use your the techniques for that one. I feel like I could do it. Maybe. Ish. Perhaps.
If we've got time.
I feel like she's taken over the exasperated way.
She seems a little impatient. We'll give it that.
Does she have a horse?
Yes, she does have a horse.
Okay.
It's a white horse. It's
So
The-
my boss.
there's all of the bridle and everything's quite fancy.
Is Pronce, are you riding with me or Bork at this point?
I'm still leaning. In fact, because it's the next day.
I feel like you'd have popped
I want to
over.
be on the riding horse ultimately, because that's the one that's going to take two people better than the pony.
I still feel like you'd still be cuddled up to Bork.
I don't know, that ride
got a
laying
pony.
against your back and the whole kind of like you saved me thing.
Are you just now like...
You can be
oh
my
God.
hero.
I've Enrique Iglesias him.
Yeah, so Pronce might be feeling a little bit more attached to you now.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm going to ride with Enothe.
Okay, all right.
My pony's pretty packed.
So you continue down the road. It's getting towards late afternoon, so it's starting to get a little bit dark. But can I get a perception check from all of you?
Okay, no.
20...
Oh,
Go on.
8.
8,
17.
17.
22 in total.
So, Pronce, you're kind of a little bit engrossed in, like, this is the cleanest your robe has been in as long as you remember.
In fact, the stitching is
Can I
fixed.
check? Is the pork pocket clean?
Yeah, and
Oh, what have they done?
That ain't good.
but Bork and Enothe,
can call it soon.
as you go along, sort of heading further down the road, you start to notice an odd glow on the horizon in the direction that you're heading.
Bork, that is an odd glow.
Yeah, on the horizon over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you kind of navigate your horses up onto a ridge, and looking down, short way away, still a couple of miles distant, you can see the village of Wild Meadow. Except it's getting dark, getting towards the end of the day, but it almost looks like spreading from the center of the village outwards, it almost looks like daylight is still there. The further out it gets, the more the sky and atmosphere is like the rest of the world, but the centre almost looks like it's still in daylight.
Well, that's probably not good. What are your thoughts, Ellis?
This is very strange.
Reckon this is what your master was talking about?
It could be. I haven't seen anything like this before.
You think it's safe to approach it?
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Send Pronce.
What?
I'm joking, it's fine. Shall we go down?
Yes, let's. And the 3 horses head down the hill, heading towards Wild Meadow, with an ominous feeling about what's ahead. Okay, that's going to do it for this episode. Our next episode, episode 39, will be available as usual in 2 weeks' time on Thursday the 6th of December. In the meantime, you can get in contact with us on Twitter and Facebook, both of which we are at Pretend With Dice. You can also email us at pretendingwithdice@outlook.com. If you're an iTunes user, it'd be really great if you could leave us a rating and review, as it all helps us to find new listeners, and we'd just really love to hear what you all think of the podcast. Once again, I want to remind you of our appearance at Dragon Meet on December the 1st. So grab those tickets while you still can. So yeah, for now, that's our show. I hope you all enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.